add this line to the drawScene function of your drawScene module just before the GL use program line. So we're gonna go into the okay, so we are already in the drawScene. Okay, so add this line to the drawScene function of your drawScene JS module. So this is the drawScene function of the drawScene JS module, and let me see, it says just before the GL that use program. So GL, let me, what is GL that okay, so I'm just gonna control F, and it's gonna be GL that use program. And here we only have let me check it, we only have, I don't know, 182 lines of code, but if you have, I don't know, 500, 1000 lines of code, so you can use control F. Okay, so let's do it again. Okay, so here I have the GL that use program. So okay, just before the GL that use program line, add this line function. Okay, add this line to the drawScene function of your drawScene module just before the GL that use program. So it's gonna be here, and you can type in the comments if you want. So we're gonna have the GL that, oops, it's not gonna be the GL, it's gonna be set normal. It's gonna be set, okay, I have it here, set normal attribute, set normal attribute. Okay, so it's gonna be set normal attribute, ended up with a semicolon, but we're gonna pass in three parameters: the GL, the buffers, okay, and finally the program info. So program info, like that. We can save it, and let me check it out. So let me see, buffers. Could not find the name buffers. Do you think buffers has to be buffers? Function, or let me see, set normal attribute. Let me double check something real quick here. It's gonna be this one. Okay, it's gonna be function. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Init buffers. Okay, buffers here. Yeah, that's fine. And now what we need to do is, finally, we need to update the code that builds the uniform matrices to generate and deliver to the shaded normal matrix, which is used to transform the normals when dealing with the current orientation of the cube in relation to the light source. Add the following code to the drawScene function of your drawScene module just after the 3 mat4 rotate call. So, and again, I'm just gonna control F, mat4, oops, mat5, mat4, mat4, like that. Mat4, what it was, mat4 that rotate. So we have 1 2 3, this one, mat rotate, so it's gonna be after. And let me see, so we're gonna add this constant declaration. So it's gonna be const declaration name normal matrix, and we're gonna set it to the mat4. We're gonna set it to the mat4 that create. We're gonna open parentheses, semicolon at the end, and here we're gonna have the mat4. We're gonna have in the mat4 that invert, so that mat4 that invert, and inside of the parentheses we're gonna pass in the normal matrix. So it's gonna be the normal matrix, comma, and then it's gonna be the model view matrix. Okay, normal matrix, model view matrix. So ended up with a semicolon, and then we're gonna have in the mat4, and this time is gonna be that transpose. It's gonna be let me see if I have it. So it's gonna be no, I don't have it. So mat4 that transpose, and we're gonna pass in the normal matrix as parameters of normal matrix, and also the model view matrix. So normal matrix and normal matrix, I mean normal matrix. So model view matrix, normal matrix. Okay, so now we're gonna end this also with a semicolon at the end. That's fine. Okay, so we have finished here, but add the following code to the drawing function of your drawing module just after the two previous GL.uniform matrix for FV. So, and again, I'm just gonna type it in GL dot what it was, uniform. Okay, so I have one, I have two, and it's gonna be GL matrix form. So we all okay, it's gonna be here. So we have add the following code to the drawing function of your drawing module just after, okay, it's after the two previous GL.uniform matrix for FV call. So we are gonna have this GL here, so it's gonna be GL dot, and it's gonna be uniform matrix. It's gonna be uniform matrix for FV, and we're gonna open parentheses, and we're gonna pass in, okay, uniform matrix for V. We're gonna pass in the program info. It's gonna be the program info that uniform locations. So it's gonna be uniform locations, comma, I mean that normal matrix, comma. Okay, so that is the first parameter. The second parameter is going to be this boolean false, and finally the third parameter is going to be normal matrix, and let's put a comma at the end. Okay, so we're going to end up this statement with a semicolon after the parentheses. So we have that, and now update the shaders. Now that all the data the shaders need is available to them, we need to update the code and the shaders themselves. So we have, let me see, so right now it's black here, the vertex shader. The first thing to do is update the vertex shader, so it generates a shading value for each vertex based on the ambient lighting as well as the directional lighting update. So we're gonna update the VS source declaration in your main function like this. So we can just copy this piece of code, but we're gonna go right now into the WebGL -demo, and we are gonna type it in. It's gonna be the VS source, so it's gonna be VS source, so it's gonna be this one. And what I'm gonna do is, let me see, so okay, it's gonna end up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy this piece of code because it's pretty similar. As you can see, we have the attribute vec4, then we attribute vec2, and here we are adding the attribute vec3, and then we have 3 mat4. Here we have 2 mat4, and then we have 1 high p vec2. Here we have the vec3, then we have the void main, so we're passing void, and we have the GL position, so we have all that. So let me see, you know what, so let's just type it in. So what we are gonna do right now is we're gonna have, so it's gonna be const, and it's gonna be the VS source like that, VS source, and we're gonna set it to backticks, so like that. And inside of the backticks we're gonna have the attribute, so like that, attribute, and the attribute that we're gonna have is gonna be the vec4, so it's gonna be the vec4, and we're gonna have in the a vertex, so it's gonna be the attribute the vec4 a vertex position, we're gonna end it up with a semicolon here. Then we're gonna have in the attribute, and it's gonna be the vec3, and we're gonna set it to 8, and again it's gonna be vertex, and it's gonna be normal, so camel notation. So now we're gonna have the attribute, it's pretty much similar. It's gonna be the vec2, and it's gonna be the a vertex normal, like that. No, it's not gonna be normal, it's gonna be 8 texture chord. Okay, so vertex position, vertex normal, and then we're gonna have the texture chord, so we have that. Then we're gonna go below, so we are inside of the backticks of the VS source, and now we're gonna have in the uniform math4, and we're gonna have the u, it's gonna be the u normal, and this time it's gonna be u normal matrix, so yeah, semicolon at the end. Okay, so below that we're gonna have the uniform math4 again, and this time it's gonna be u model view matrix, so u model view matrix, like that. So u model view matrix. Finally we have the uniform, and it's gonna be math4 again, and it's gonna be u projection matrix, like that. So we ended up with a semicolon, and we're gonna move below, and now we're gonna have let me see, we're gonna have the variant height. Okay, so we are gonna have the variant, okay, we're gonna have the variant high, okay, variant high p, and it's gonna be the vec2, like this. And then we're gonna have the v, it's gonna be the texture, and it's gonna be chord, semicolon at the end. And then we're gonna have the variant, and it's gonna be the high p, but this time it's gonna be vec3, and then it's gonna be v lightning. Okay, let me see, no, I type lighting. Okay, so yeah, I type it right. Okay, so what else do we have here? So now I'm just gonna copy this boy here, and let me see, so I have it all the way. I'm gonna copy just this boy main, and we are gonna go below here, ended up here, and let's just delete this backticks here. Okay, so after this variant high p vec3 v lighting, we have the void main, and inside we're passing the GL underscore position set to the U projection matrix multiplied by the U model view matrix multiplied by the A vertex position. Then we have the V texture chord set to the 8 texture chord, so 8 texture chord set to the the V texture chord. Okay, so we have that. Then we're gonna apply the lighting effect, so we have the high p vec3 ambient light, so we have the vec3, we have the 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, we have the directional light color, is gonna be the vec3, is gonna be 1, 1, 1, and then we have the directional vector normalize, that's inside of the parentheses. We have the vec3, and it's gonna be 0.85, 0.8, and 0.75, so we have that. And let me see, so I'm gonna just I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna paste it, so maybe, so just to make sure I didn't type anything wrong, so I'm just gonna type it here, so it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, so, and again we have nothing up to this point yet, but we have it here. So once the position of the vertex is computed and we pass the coordinates of the texel corresponding to the vertex to the fragment shader, we can work on computing the shading for the vertex. The first thing we do is transform the normal based on the current orientation of the cube by multiplying the vertex normal by the normal matrix. We can then compute the amount of directional lighting that needs to be applied to the vertex by calculating the dot product of the transformed normal and the directional vector, that is the direction from which the light is coming. If this value is less than 0, then we pin the value to 0, since you cannot have less than 0 light. Once the amount of directional lighting is computed, we can generate the lighting value by taking the ambient light and adding it the product of the directional light's color and the amount of the directional lighting is to provide. As a result, we now have an RGB value that will be used by the fragment shaders to adjust the color of each pixel we render. Now we have the fragment shaders. The fragment shader now needs to be updated to take into account the lighting value computed by the vertex shader. So update the fs source declaration in your main function, and we can just pretty much grab this piece of code of the fs source, and I'm just gonna go as here, so I'm just gonna delete the sparse. Let's paste it, and again we have this declaration fs source, and we have in the backticks we have the variant high p vec2 b texture chord, and we have the vec3 v lightning, then we have the uniform sampler 2d sampler, and inside of the void, so in this function curly braces, we have the vec4 text color set to the texture 2, and as a parameters we're passing the v texture chord as well as the u sampler. And then we have the gl underscore frag color, we are setting it to vec4 text color dot rgb multiplied by the v lightning multiplied by the text color dot a. Okay, so we save it, nothing is changing yet. So here we fetch the color of the texel just like we did in the previous example, but before setting the color of the fragment, we multiply the texel color by the lighting value to adjust the texels or the texel's color to take into account the effect of our light sources. The only thing left is to look up the location of the A vertex normal attribute and the U normal matrix uniform. So update program info declaration of your main function like this. So what is the program info? Okay, so we're gonna go into the program info. We are in the main already, so it's gonna be program info. Okay, let me see. So we have this declaration program info. Let me see, program info, and we have A vertex position, A vertex normal, A texture course. So here we have A vertex position. Let me see. Okay, so here we only have, okay, we have the program, okay, shader program and A vertex position. So shader program, A vertex position, A texture chord, A texture chord, A vertex normal, A vertex position. Okay, so we need we're just adding the A vertex, so we are adding the A vertex normal. Okay, so instead of typing the whole code, we're just gonna copy and paste this one. Since there's a little piece of code, we can just click here on this curly braces, so it ends up here, this declaration, delete it, and here we have, so we have it again, nothing has changed except for the now we have A vertex position, but also we have A vertex normal as well as A texture core. So, and finally the only difference is that we have the A vertex normal, so we can go into the index.html and just all plus L plus O, and as you can see, this is our final product. So it's pretty much similar to the previous video. The only difference is that we just added shading, I mean it's the lighting.